So we are here with the lovely Angelique Bates from Season 1 and Season 2 of All That, the iconic TV show on Nickelodeon, when Nickelodeon was the real Nickelodeon, in my opinion. She was on the show from 1992 to about 1996. Angelique, I'm so glad I could have you here today.
Well, thank you for having me.
I'm so excited that you're here. So I have a couple of questions. Just wanted to ask you, for your feedback, because you were part of an iconic show when, Nickelodeon was filmed in Universal Studios at Nickelodeon Studios in Orlando, Florida, as the sign-off always said.
Right.
So what was that like? I mean, how much experience had you had before all that?
Well, I've been in the industry since I was 9 months old. So I did a lot of theater. And I had an AT&T commercial before that, and I did a low-budget film. Bill Duke was behind it and everything. So, I had some experience, but like I said, I had a lot of theater. And for that kind of show, you had to have a lot of improv, theater, comedy. So, I was really trained. Let's just put it that way.
Okay, so that gives me my next question. What was the audition and casting process like to be on that show?
Almost like boot camp, no.
What'd you say?
It felt like it because it was like I want to say, I know it was for a fact over a month, but I want to say it was almost 2 months, and it was improv. Like, they really didn't have a script. It was improv. You had to be able to think on your feet, and you had to be funny. So, they definitely picked very well, and they weren't playing. It's like you had to be able to, make them laugh. It didn't matter. They had to give you a cup, and it had to be funny.
Oh, wow. Yeah, because, I heard that you did your Urkel impression in one of your auditions. Is that right?
Yeah, I came in, I was completely dressed like Urkel. I had the glasses, the suspenders, everything. Like, I was Urkel.
That's great.
So.
So you came in as Urkel, and that's how you got the part on All That. That was like the start of it.
Yeah. That was pretty much it. Yeah. Well, I did characters too. So it was Urkel that I was completely dressed as, and then I had Arnold Schwarzenegger and all the other characters. Like, I did a lot of male voices. So for me being a young girl doing these male voices of like these muscular men, they were just like completely tripping out.
So that was your niche. That was the niche that you found.
Yeah.
Nice. So what was your favorite part of being on All That, and what was your favorite role to play?
My favorite part of being on All That was definitely meeting all of the musical guests. Like, that's my all-time favorite, because I got to meet people like no one would probably ever meet, and it was just like, and then my favorite artist on top of it. You said what was the favorite character, right? Okay, I definitely have to say Randy and Mandy, because I was a chocolate, obviously. That's any kid's dream. You get to eat as much chocolate as you want, play in it, and not get yelled at.
So you were really helping me segue with a lot of these questions. Cooking with Randy and Mandy was one of my favorite skits you were in, especially, with Kenan Thompson. Who doesn't love Kenan Thompson? Was the chocolate real? Because you guys ate a lot of it.
A lot of it was. Parts of it, like if it was a letter or something, maybe the tip might have been real or something, like the chocolate tub or whatever. Because I was a lot of chocolate, like, they had to obviously make a larger quantity, so it was probably water mixed in that to get that quantity. It was something we weren't trying to drink. But, when they made mixtures like that, it stuck to our skin, like, really bad. So we were smelling like chocolate, like, all day long.
So you were really a black girl after that skit.
Right, yeah.
I was going to say, because I was like, Nickelodeon's known to use slime for a lot of stuff. I was like, are they giving them chocolate slime?
Oh my gosh, that would have been horrible.
So what is your best memory of being on All That?
I would have to say it's my 13th birthday. They gave me this piece of paper to write it ended up being 100 items, but they told me to write anything that I wanted. So it was 100 things. Come on, I'm a kid, and I'm at Nickelodeon Studios. So I wrote every single thing I ever wanted. Okay, and one of the things was Denzel Washington. So you remember when they had that episode where I'm sitting on Santa's lap, and I'm like, oh, well, if I can't have Denzel, whatever. Well, anyway, that's where they got it from. The Brat was one of the things that I wanted. And they actually surprised me. Luckily, my birthday fell on a Friday, which is when we also had live taping. So the Brat was one of our live artists. And also they surprised me with the cake in front of the audience, which was completely awesome. One thing that I always forget to mention in interviews is actually Katrina actually threw a surprise birthday party for me also for my 13th. She is a Sanrio nut. and she had this gigantic size bag full of all cereal. It was gigantic, filled all the way to the top. So I always forget to mention that in interviews because I really had 2 13th birthday parties. And Katrina surprised me, the whole cast at the house, and it was pretty awesome.
Well, Ross Perot did have a couple $1 billion.
Yes. Ross was balling.
Well, that sounds really fun. So, I mean, you talked about, working with the cast and things. What was it like when you would come to set? Like, what happened? Like, give me a walkthrough on what would happen in your day.
Okay, well, technically our day would start almost like 4 a.m., 5 a.m. because we had to be on a lookout for the revised scripts that we memorized already and we may have to film that day. So we're already like, oh God, hopefully it won't change like the whole script. So we're like all nervous and everything. So by the time we get the script and we're like eating, we run to the set. We were all in school, so we had tutors. Depending on the day, it might be a tutor day, and then we go to rehearsal. We might go to lunch. Well, we had to, especially by law.
Yeah, those labor laws.
Right? But our backyard was Nickelodeon, so we're eating on like Universal Studios lot. So we could, play around. Like if it was a day of shooting, then we would go back and we would shoot, but it wouldn't be a live audience. Like the way we used to shoot is not like that anymore. Like a lot of the sketches that were shot in home was Thursday without live audience, and then Friday. Now I think it's like all over the place, but pretty much that's how it would be. On Friday, of course, we had school, we would have rehearsal, we would get our wardrobe, and then it was like shooting in front of the live audience. And that's pretty much how our days went throughout the week. Weekend was, hey, party!
Well, I bet, because, most child workers, we work at like, McDonald's or DQ. You happen to be on a national television show making all this money in front of the slime guys or Universal Studios. Can't really compare those two.
Yep. We're constantly going to the kitchen eating slime and boogers, the GAC machine, all of that. And it was pretty awesome because, like, that was like our little day. It's like, hey, Usher, want to go to the Nickelodeon kitchen with us? Want to eat some boogers?
I don't think many people can say they ask the celebrities if they'd like to eat boogers, and they're like, sure.
Right. I was gonna say, imagine that being like a dating piece. Like, hey, I'm hitting on you. Like, hey, want some slime? Like,
That could have been a skit.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome though. Like, it was definitely good memories. Like I said, we were kids. We had no idea it was gonna be this big. Yeah. So it was just like, it was like a huge playground for us. But I definitely wouldn't change anything, and it was definitely an awesome experience. It still is. Like I said, it's still surreal, and I can't believe what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, because they'll play reruns all the time, on Teen Nick right now with the 90s or all that. And I absolutely love that show. I mean, I'm probably one of the most diehard 90s Nickelodeon fans. It was my dream until 14 to get slimed. That was why I went to Universal Studios and we saw the tour and I saw Pizza Face's mask and, I was just mesmerized. I was like, this is the world I've always wanted to be in. And
right.
So, I mean, speaking of Pizza Face, do you still talk to some of the cast members? Like, who are you still friends with?
I'm still friends with Josh, Elisa, Katrina. I talked to Kel. I haven't seen Keenan in a long time. Well, he's in New York, obviously. But pretty much, the last time I saw Lori Beth and talked to her, well, actually, I talked to her on Facebook, but the last time I saw her was the reunion. So the reunion kind of helped bring a lot of us back together. But me, Katrina, and Elisa were like always, still close. And actually, Kel, we stay in the same city.
Oh, yeah. See, I remember, because I see pictures, because we're Facebook friends, and I see you and Katrina and Elisa, like, all the time.
Yeah.
I'm hoping I can get Ross Perot and one of the Island Girls to do one of these interviews, so maybe you can help me out with that.
You know what? Hey, they probably will. They're pretty cool. They're awesome.
I mean, because, like I said, the show was just, it was amazing. And you talked about Kenan Thompson, who's now on Saturday Night Live. Yes. That show, all that, seemed basically like a kid's edition of Saturday Night Live. Was it a lot of improv, or was it a lot of script, or a mixture?
It was a mixture, and it's kind of ironic that he is on Saturday Night Live because that was like the main thing that that's pretty much what they held us as. We were the children's version of Saturday Night Live. Like, that was the whole thing, like all the advertisements and everything, and then he ends up getting the adult version of Saturday Night Live. Speak it into existence.
That's really cool, because, you never know what's going to happen with this stuff.
Right.
And you got to work with, the Nickelodeon man himself, Dan Schneider, right? I mean, that had to be amazing. I'm so jealous. I want to meet him so bad.
Oh, yeah, he's pretty awesome. And he was a genius behind that. And Brian Robbins, because it was him and Brian Robbins. And Brian Robbins is actually behind a lot of like a lot of the top shows.
Yeah, and Mike Tollins was a big part of it too.
Yes. Oh, definitely can't forget him. But in the beginning, like I said, in the beginning it was Brian and Dan, and then it branched off to Tolan Robbins. And like I said, Tolan Robbins, like you said, is behind a lot of the shows, like even Smallville. You know, like if you actually look at the end of these shows, their name comes up. So it's crazy how everybody just branched off and just became legendary. You know, like they still are affecting TV. Like even Dan, like he's making still like the top #1 shows on Nickelodeon.
He's a legend. Dan Schneider is an absolute legend.
Yeah, everyone who touched that show is legendary right now. Like it's crazy.
That's pretty cool, and it all started from you being Urkel.
Yeah. Yes. Oh my gosh. Thank goodness for Family Matters, right?
Yes.
And me having the biggest crush on Jaleel White.
I was going to say, thank you, Jaleel White. So my last question for you is, what advice would you give to somebody that wants to break out into, show business like you did?
Definitely have a good head on your shoulders. Being as young as I was, definitely stay in school. Mm-hmm. Education is key, because I graduated at 16. So I graduated early. But my mom was definitely very evident about that. She was like, you know what? It's all about schoolwork, because even when we were on set, yeah, we had tutors, but my mama wasn't playing. Like, she made sure everything was taken care of. Definitely have a good head on your shoulders, because now this industry is nothing like it was when I was growing up. Actually, it's worse. And it's worse. It's way worse. And I mean, the morals, there's really no morals, and they're having kids do stuff that kids shouldn't be doing. They're not being kids. A lot of the people are being forced to grow up a lot sooner than they have to. Mm-hmm. Back then, I can't say they were forcing us to be grown-ups. Like, we could still be kids. Like I said, anyone who wants to be in this industry, like, and sometimes it's not for everybody, but just keep your eyes open, listen, definitely get all the knowledge. Like I always tell everybody, get a lot of experience. Acting classes, you definitely need that. Theater is my home. So always stay with theater, because it keeps you up to date. Improv. Now, unfortunately, we're also in a world where reality TV is what's happening, so you don't really have to have too much talent.
Yeah.
But if you want longevity and you don't want to go that route, definitely have the experience, because like they say, everything doesn't last forever. There's going to be a period where they're going to go back to the seasoned actors and the ones that are actually having the training. Reality TV is not going to last for long. It's lasted long enough, but it's not going to last forever.
The 20th anniversary of all that will happen. It's past 20, but
right?
It's going to happen.
Oh my gosh.
So, Angelique, I loved interviewing with you, and this is your chance. Any shameless plugs you want to go throw in? Anything you're doing right now we can check out?
Well, make sure you check me out in the Michael Jackson and Justin Timberlake music video, Love Never Felt So Good. I almost said another movie that was in. I'm like, no, that's not the name.
You can't keep track.
The music video is hot right now. It's on 106 in Park. Someone just hit me up on Twitter and told me that they saw me. That was an experience itself, just to be able to be in Michael Jackson's project, rest in peace. He was like my idol, still is, and just to have my name on a contract with his, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Complete blessing. I'm doing stand-up still. Catch me Laugh Factory, Comedy Store, everywhere. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that. Just type in Angelique Bates. I'm there.
She's on the interwebs.
Yeah.
Well, Angelique, if you ever come to Baltimore, or ever I get to where you are, we need to hang out.
Definitely. And I'm proud of you. I've been watching what you're doing. So keep up the good work.
You've been watching me.
Yes, I've been watching you. I see you in my timeline.
You come to my drag show, and I will go to your Laugh Factory.
All right.
All right, well, thank you, Angelique.
All right, thank you.